Hello everyone. Today we will discuss two life-threatening psychiatric emergencies, serotonin syndrome and neuroleptic malignant syndrome. Although both conditions present with altered mental status, autonomic instability, and neuromuscular abnormalities, they have different causes, mechanisms, and management strategies. Understanding their differences is crucial for rapid diagnosis and life-saving treatment in clinical practice. Why this topic is important? These two syndromes are often confused because they share overlapping clinical features such as fever, confusion, and autonomic instability. However, their treatment is completely different, and misdiagnosis can lead to serious consequences. Therefore, rapid differentiation is essential in emergency settings. Overview of serotonin syndrome. Serotonin syndrome occurs due to excessive serotonin activity in the central nervous system. It is commonly caused by overdose, drug interactions, or combining serotonergic medications such as SSRIs, SNRIs, or MAO inhibitors. It develops rapidly and can progress quickly if not treated. Pathophysiology of serotonin syndrome. In serotonin syndrome, there is overstimulation of serotonin receptors, particularly 5-HT1A and 5-HT2A receptors. This leads to increased neuromuscular activity, autonomic instability, and altered mental status. The onset is usually rapid, often within hours of drug exposure. Clinical features of serotonin syndrome. The hallmark of serotonin syndrome is the triad of mental status changes, autonomic instability, and neuromuscular hyperactivity. Patients may present with agitation, confusion, sweating, and fever. Neuromuscular findings such as hyperreflexia, clonus, and tremors are particularly important diagnostic clues. Overview of neuroleptic malignant syndrome. Neuroleptic malignant syndrome is a rare but life-threatening reaction to antipsychotic medications. It occurs due to dopamine blockade in the central nervous system. Unlike serotonin syndrome, it develops more gradually over days. Pathophysiology of neuroleptic malignant syndrome. In neuroleptic malignant syndrome, dopamine blockade leads to severe muscle rigidity and impaired thermoregulation. This results in hypothermia, autonomic instability, and altered consciousness. The sustained muscle contraction also causes increased creatine kinase levels. Clinical features of NMS. The classic features of NMS include severe, lead pipe, muscle rigidity, high fever, confusion, and unstable vital signs. Unlike serotonin syndrome, reflexes are usually decreased or normal, not exaggerated. Key differences. The most important step is distinguishing between these two conditions. Serotonin syndrome has rapid onset and hyperreflexia, while NMS has gradual onset and severe rigidity. Understanding these differences is essential for correct diagnosis and management. Diagnosis. Serotonin syndrome is often diagnosed using the Hunter criteria, which focus on features like clonus and agitation. NMS diagnosis is clinical but supported by elevated creatine kinase levels due to muscle breakdown. Management of serotonin syndrome. Management involves immediate discontinuation of serotonergic drugs. Benzodiazepines help control agitation, while cyproheptadine acts as a serotonin antagonist. Supportive care including hydration and temperature control is essential. Management of NMS. NMS management includes stopping the offending antipsychotic drug. Dantrolene helps reduce muscle rigidity, while bromocriptine restores dopamine activity. Severe cases require intensive care monitoring. Complications. Both conditions can lead to serious complications such as rhabdomyolysis, kidney failure, and even death if not treated promptly. Thank you for watching this lecture. In this session, we discussed two critical psychiatric emergencies, serotonin syndrome and neuroleptic malignant syndrome, focusing on their pathophysiology, clinical features, key differentiating points, and management strategies. Accurate and rapid differentiation between these conditions is essential, as timely intervention can significantly reduce morbidity and mortality. I hope this lecture has helped strengthen your clinical understanding and confidence in managing these emergencies. If you found this session helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more medical lectures. Thank you once again, and I would be happy to take any questions.